All right, so today we're going to talk about simplifying square roots. So, some square roots, if your teacher gives you, you just know exactly what to do. So you know that the square root of 4 is 2, and you know that the square root of 100 is 10. Okay, but the question is, what about when they give you something that you just don't know exactly what it's going to be, like say the square root of 72? So it's not going to turn out to be some nice simple number, so how can you simplify this guy? So the way to do it is to make what's called a factor tree. So all a factor tree is you take and you write out your square root, and then you just factor it. So for example, 72, I could write this as 8 times 9, and keep going. Basically, you want to keep going until everything is broken down to primes, meaning you can't go any further. So I go all the way down until I've just got a whole bunch of 2s and 3s. So what I can see at this point, right, is everything in terms of primes. So what I like to do is go ahead and circle all my primes. And once you get to there, what you're doing is you're looking for pairs of primes. It doesn't matter if they're next to each other or not next to each other. I just need pairs. So here I've got a pair of 3s, so I'm going to go ahead and box those. And also I can see I've got a pair of 2s. I could take the 2s that are next to each other or the 2s that are not. That's not important. Just take a pair of 2s. Okay, now what you want to do is anything that's a pair, you can take one of them out of the square root. So since I've got a pair of 3s, I can take one of the 3s out of the square root. Since I've got a pair of 2s, I can take one of the 2s out of the square root. And then I've got a single 2 that's left over, so he has to stay inside the square root. So then you're basically done, right? 3 times 2 is 6, and there we go. I've got my final answer. Okay, so let's try another one. Okay, so let's say they give you square root of 120. So first I just write out my 120. Remember, step 1 is to make a factor tree, so just factor this guy. And it doesn't matter how you factor it, just whatever is easiest to you. So 120, I think of that as being 10 times 12, and then just keep going down until all you've got left is primes. Step 2 is go through and circle all the primes so you can see exactly which ones you're working with. Now I want to look for pairs of primes. Again, they don't need to be next to each other, it's just pairs. So the only pair I've got here is a pair of 2s, and everything else is on its own. So I'll go ahead and the pair of 2s, I can pull one of those 2s out, and then everything else needs to stay inside. I've got a 2, I've got a 5, and I've got a 3. And there we go. I'm all done. 2 times 5 is 10, 10 times 3 is 30. And you've done it. So that is how you simplify square roots.